So welcome. So whether or not you want your video, that's okay. I'm gonna be here for you. My name's Ashley, and this is our Friday noon all levels yoga practice. So it's going to be a nice total body flow that includes twists, back bends, forward bends, all the movement to make our body just feel, good, reset, good, wonderful, and whatever it is, that positive intention you're looking for. So if you have those props, just set them aside and come into a seated pose. A simple seated yoga pose. You can cross your legs if it's comfortable, sit up on something, a pillow, cushion, if that's comfortable. You can even bring the legs forward instead. If at any time your body is telling you, like giving you that signal to not do something, please listen to that. Whether anything is causing you pain, like a sharp shooting pain, or it's just too uncomfortable that you can't maintain a nice, deep, solid breath, and it starts to become too much, just find another pose or take that break that we need. The simple fact that we showed up today is a big deal, and usually about 80% of the progress we make is going to be just showing up. So to be here, listening to me talking about yoga, movement, and breath, it's a big step. So sit up tall. See if we can ground down through the sit bones. That's those little bones you feel if you're riding a bicycle. And the shoulders kind of roll up, back, and down, so they slide down the back of the body. And the hands typically flipped up as a symbol or a mudra that we were open, open to receiving whatever comes our way. So you can place your hands on your knees or in your lap. And it's up to you for these first couple minutes that we're sitting here. You can close your eyes or just gently look down with a little bow of the head, chin pointed down, and slow, steady, deep breath. And start to bring that awareness towards the breath. Something we do unconsciously at all hours of the day. And yet we still know how to do it, and we don't think much about it. So this is our opportunity to think, to become conscious of the inhale and the exhale. When we bring this mind to our present moment, well, that's how we do it, with our breath. We can say present, we can stay right here, right now, and just simply be. Our yoga breath flows in through the nose, out through the nose. As you breathe, feel the lower belly expand like a balloon in all directions, filling up from the bottom to the top. And as you exhale, slowly out through the nose, try to extend that exhale. At least an equal duration from inhale to exhale, if not longer on the exhale. I'm going to bring in a simple method for slowing down the breath, and it's just simply counting. So we're going to count this breath, just a few rounds. We'll start with 4. So exhale everything out, and as you inhale, do so in a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthen that. Go inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more for 6 this time. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now do a few more rounds of breath, choosing 4, 5, or 6, or a number that works for you, however fast you count, but trying to slow it down. And do a couple more. And then one more breath. And you can come back to counting your breath at any time in our poses and our practice. So let's blink the eyes open if they were closed. Take an inhale and reach those hands up. Connect the hands at the top and then simply draw the hands down to your heart. We'll do that a couple more times. This scooping breath, inhale, big circle. Connect the hands, this time a mudra or symbol of appreciation and gratitude. And do that once more. Circle those arms out and up. Hands come down, connect the hands, press actively, hands connected. Feel the biceps and triceps come alive as you press the palms together, trying to smoosh the hands and thumbs towards the heart. And a full releasing exhale to soften. Getting into some spinal movement next. You're always welcome to change the crossing of your legs if you ever feel like it's getting too much on one side. And also to keep it even, undo the side that feels a little more uncomfortable. That's how we even out side to side. So take an inhale, reach your hands up. This time is side bend, simple. Take one hand down to the floor, fingertips down, reach longer through that upper hand, then lean to the side. And we can inch the fingers a little farther, reaching to the side, bend that top elbow, press it back, look up. Good, then we inhale back up to the top, reach up. And exhale, the other hand comes down. Fingertips tent the floor, reach a little longer with the upper hand. Lean to the side as you exhale. And then walk the fingers a little farther back. Bend in that top elbow, press it back, look up. And we'll flow side to side with this side bend, getting that length through the body. Let's reach up, inhale, really reach high. Exhale to the side, that first side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to the side. Reach up. Two more. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, side bend. Reach all the way up. And we'll take the hands forward. If it's comfortable for you to just simply roll on forward to your hands and knees, do that. Otherwise, bring the legs forward and swing them around and to come onto your hands and knees. We'll do a little bit more spinal movement and warm-ups, and that includes what we call cat and cow pose. So pressing into the hands or under the shoulders, knees under hips, hip distance apart. We got this nice stacked joint situation. Arch the back, look up, draw the heart forward. Usually this is on an inhale. Exhale as you round the back and look down, tucking the chin. And interesting, when you have a mirror or you're looking in a camera at all or on a video of you, you can really tell the tight areas, and maybe you can tell with feeling. For me, there's a part in the middle of my back, right between my shoulder blades, that does not want to move. And most of us are tight there. In more of that, let's see, the thoracic spine, the rib cage. And that's on purpose. It protects the important organs of our body, our heart and our lungs. But in time, we can get a little bit more mobility, a little more strength in that area. And bring it back to more of a neutral position. We'll be on our hands for other poses, such as down dog and a few others. So let's just stretch out the wrists. Keep it simple by flipping the hands and maybe shifting side to side or forward and back. And after a few wrist stretches here, let's flip the hands. Same thing, but other side of the wrist. So we get the front of the wrist, so the palms are down, fingers point towards your toes. It might be enough to stay upright here, or bend the elbows just slightly as you sink back. We're testing out the flexion of the wrists. And also the flexibility of the forearms. This is all the way up the arms. It's not just in the joint. You can move side to side. I really like movement. So little shifts. Even as you breathe, you're moving, continuously moving. Good, and then unflip the hands. And then tuck the toes under and sit back on the heels. If that's too much for the toes, just keep them, untucked. But this also gets a little foot stretch here too. And then simply rotate through the wrists. So we've got this figure 8 situation. Figure 8 wrist rotations. We can go faster, or like you're holding tennis balls, really squeeze them and get into more of the squeezing sensation, a little slower. Okay, then shake that out. And next up, maybe I'll get a little closer for this. Take your hand here, your thumb, pull it back towards your wrist. This is to stretch out all of our texting muscles, thumbs, or if you're playing video games, And then release that, give it a finger wiggle. Other side, see this hand? Take that thumb back towards the wrist. And generally, your thumb's not going to touch your wrist at all unless you are oddly double jointed. Then, it might be a thing. Oh, we were sitting here. And then we release that. So wherever you were sitting is fine. Shake out the fingers again, the hands, and come back to the hands and knees. We'll set up for our first downward facing dog. So the hands walk forward just in front of the shoulders. Toes tuck under. Lift the knees and send those hips up and back. So at first the knees are bent. And we pedal out the feet by bending one knee at a time. Shake out the head. Melt the heart down. And your legs will start to lengthen as we start to move and feel and hold in this pose. The fingers are spread wide. Head is hanging loose. You might even shake out the head. But let's do more of that as we come into a forward fold. So walk the feet forward as many steps as you would like. Just behind the hands, so keep the feet about hip distance. Bend the knees, so avoiding this big round in the back. Instead, dropping that heart, that chest, lifting more for a flat back, bent knees, but then let the head hang loose. So you should feel more sensation in the backs of the legs than you do in the lower or back of the upper body. Shake out the head, maybe sway side to side. Allowing any stress, any judgment, negativity to fall out of the body, out of the head, and just gently, nicely sweep it away. So coming back to that breath to guide us for our practice, for our day. Release those hands down to the floor, bend the knees, and slowly roll yourself up. You can walk the hands up, or just roll it up using that core strength to get up. Pull your shorts down. Adjust as needed. And then we're standing in a standing pose. I'm gonna bring in some, I'm not an expert at this, but some simple Tai Chi style movements. And one of them, let's see, what should we do? One of them is just simply coming back to the breath, using a motion of the hands to connect with breath and body again. So take those feet a little wider, toes turned out, bend the knees. So we're in this sort of soft, like you could shift side to side, you feel nice, but grounded through the feet. So I'm gonna just go to the side here. Toes turned out slightly, hands just resting on your thighs, and then get light. The hands, just let them be sort of loose. And as you inhale, draw the hands up to the shoulders, like you're carrying feathers, lifting them just above the fingertips. And as you exhale, press the hands forward and down into this nice circle. It's called wheel breath. Again, inhale up. Exhale, pressing forward. And we get stronger in the legs by adding this bend in the knees, feeling the strength and power, yet soft. Nice little duality or combination of strength and softness. If you would like for a couple breaths, come back to counting. Take the exhale even slower. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, pressing forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Plus one more. So keep going, a couple more. So on this next breath, we're going to take those hands, extend them forward, and just let them, reach long, but let the wrist grow loose. This next movement is called brush hands. Straighten the legs like you're brushing the front of the room or painting. Reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, brushing down, pressing through the toes, keeping your chest lifted higher than the hips, and then brush up again. Inhale. All simple movement connected with simple deep breath. So you don't have to touch the ground at all. Working some strength into the legs. We're doing a lot here actually, but you don't really have to think about that too much. Just be here, practice. Let's turn to one side. So now flex a foot, straight leg, flex one foot, turn to the side, exhale, hinging over straight leg without bending the knees. Maybe that opposite knee bends. Reach up, inhale. Like a rainbow, pivot to the other side, lift a heel, exhale down. Over that straight leg. We'll do 2 more side to side. Exhale over to the other side. We'll inhale first. Of course, if you get lost with the breath, that's okay. Take extra breaths as needed. Just make sure that you are breathing deep. It's not getting lost or choppy. Now come back to the center. Take the hands together. Turn the toes out a little more. Hands to your heart, bend the knees, lower down into a squat. So your squat might be up here today, kind of like a football squat, or it might be down here as you adjust. Heels might come up, that's all right. Heels can come down. Hands to your heart, knees open. Press the elbows to the thighs. Try to avoid this rounding that tends to happen as we try to get lower. Instead, press and lift. And just like we did in the beginning, actively press the hands together. At the same time, elbows pressing into the shins or the knees. Yogi squat or Malasana. Great place to check in with the hips. Typically in a class, I would look around the room, see where everyone's at today. It's a great check-in pose. And then we'll take those hands down to the floor, lengthen the legs, and heel toe the feet a little closer together, maybe hip distance or so. For the second time, let's bend the knees and roll yourself up. Reach up, connect the hands, and then bring them down to your heart. We're gonna come to the top of the mat, or top of wherever you are, and head towards our sun salutations. If you have a version of a sun salutation A that you know and love, please add push-ups, add whatever you would like to make this your own practice. But I will go through a few variations. So feet can stay hip distance apart for balance. Palms come down, turn the hands forward, shoulders back. Sitting or standing, nice and tall. Keep your hips neutral, pelvis neutral, abs in. And imagine someone pulling the crown of your head straight to the sky to make you an inch taller than you actually are. I'm 5'7", so now in this pose, I'm 5'8". Palms reach up, inhale. Connect the hands, look up, exhale. This time, open the arms, dive down, hinging at the hips. Slow this dive down to really feel the strength of the back, the length of the hamstrings, and the hands and then the head are the last thing that come down. Forward fold, standing forward fold. Place the hands on the shins. For a flat back, lengthen through the upper body. Shoulders drawing down the back of the ears, or back of the shoulders, back of the back, down away from the ears. Hands to the floor. Step the feet back. So passing through down dog, instead of staying here, shift forward into plank pose. Here's a variation for you. Take the knees down. Elbows face the back of the room, then lower to your belly, to your chest, maybe even chin down. Elbows stay hugged in closely, hands on the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the heart. And gently press into the hands for Cobra Pose. The toes are still down on the ground. In fact, engage the legs so the knees lift up and your quads press down into the floor. Same with the hip bones. Lower back down just to give you a little bit more oomph to press up from your hands and knees. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back. Take a few breaths in down dog, this time finding some stillness. Relax the head. A heat-releasing breath would be exhaling through the mouth. And walking forward again, bend the knees. Step to the top of the mat. Lift halfway, inhale. Exhale, forward folds. A little deeper. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Look forward. Open those arms. Reach up. Rise up. Straighten the legs at the top. And then bring the hands down to your heart. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale. You can circle those arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Diving down. Half lift. Inhale. Exhale, step back through down dog, but then shift it forward. You can come onto the knees again, but instead of lowering all the way down, we lower halfway down. Hug the elbows to the rib cage halfway. Tricep push-up on the knees. Straighten the arms, lifting to a modified up dog on the knees. And then to down dog. Flip over the toes, lift those hips, press them back. And take one more deep breath. This is a great place to check in. If at any time it's a little too much for you today, just take the knees down and head to child's pose. So child's pose is going to be your variation for down dog, and really a variation for any pose. You just need a little break. Walk those feet forward. Half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise up, inhale, lift. Hands down to your heart. We will move on from here through our sun salutation and then into some lunges. So palms come down again, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Hands can be on the shins or fingertips to the floor now that we're maybe a little looser. Step it back to plank pose. Last variation to show you. It's a tough one, but we can do our best. Shift forward on the toes. The knees are off this time. Hug the elbows to the rib cage, Chaturanga. Our favorite pose, right? Upward dog, knees stay off the ground. And exhale, downward dog as your abs, your core draws you back. Hips to the sky. So use your favorite variation or the one that you want to use today. From there, we'll step it forward with our right foot. Some people like to lift their leg behind. Some people can just step forward. Either way, that right foot steps forward, and you might, take a slow little journey and use that right hand to help your leg up to the front. Bend the back knee and place it down to the floor. Just to feel the length in this low lunge. Now, this is where blocks could become helpful, or books, or, pop can containers or something, where you have them on the outsides of the hands. It just, or under the hands. It helps to lift the floor a little higher for you. I will use them today, but you don't have to, remember. So we want to lift through the heart. So we've got this long straight line from the back knee to the crown of the head. And then just to feel what's going on with that back leg, a little more strength, tuck the back toes under and lift the knee off the ground. Notice the difference between the back knee down and the back knee up. It might not be harder or easier, it's just different. It's a low lunge. So I'm going to keep my back knee on the floor. Take the inside hand. If your right leg is forward, that's your left arm. Keep the hand on the floor. As you reach and pull up with that right arm, twist. And you can play around with this twisted lunge, twisted low lunge. Back leg. Lighten the weight, or get lighter on that left hand. That creates more strength for the legs, the core. Maybe try to get that left shoulder closer to the knee. Maybe. And then take it back down. Right hand comes forward and down to the floor or your blocks. Straighten that front leg. So now we're in a half splits. The toes pull back, lift long. So instead of this round that tends to happen, again, always in forward folds, press the belly forward, almost like you're trying to arch the back. So we don't need this huge fold, or we don't need our nose to get to our toes or anything. But just start to feel the back of that right leg as you pull the toes back, more activation for the calf, the hamstring. All right, shift it forward back to our low lunge. I'm going to actually add a couple poses here. Tuck the back toes under, lift the knee. This time spin the back heel down. Reach forward and up, or out and up for warrior one. And right away, right hand forward, left hand back, warrior two. And I might look opposite from you. Whichever foot's forward is okay. We'll do the other side coming soon. So bending into that front knee, shoulders soft, adding some breath and movement here. Flip the hands. Reach up, straighten that front leg. Back to warrior two, palms down. Look forward at that front hand. Your gaze follows the hand. Reach up. Exhale, lower. One more time, reach up. Exhale, lower. Take that front elbow to the thigh or the knee, left arm reaching up high. Awesome. Now to get out of this, I like to do a nice path or a flow rather than saying, okay, back to plank pose. And how do you get there? Inhale, we rise to warrior two. Exhale, left hand comes forward to meet the right to pick up the back heel. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down around that front foot. Now step back, down dog. And you can hold and wait in down dog, or join me for an additional vinyasa. So that's that shift forward to plank, lower to your belly or halfway down, up dog or cobra pose, and downward facing dog, exhale. Second side, left leg steps forward. We can do a lift of the leg or a simple step forward. Use that left hand to help it forward. Back knee comes down. So the foot's in line with the hands right in the front. When our foot's too far back and our hands are too far forward, that's gonna put a lot of unnecessary pressure on the knee. So we're gonna, you can either walk the back leg farther back or scooch the front foot forward so that your hands are in line with the middle of the foot. That's why blocks are sometimes helpful. And then feel this lunge. Wonderful, good old low lunge. And just for the camera's sake, you stay there. I'm gonna switch to this side. Stay there. And then tucking the back toes under, try it. See what it feels like to lengthen that leg. You gotta squeeze that back glute, squeeze that back leg as you lift. What's it feel like when it comes down? Perhaps it's more stretch here. Maybe the hip flexors are getting a better stretch compared to when you activate to this more active low lunge with the knee up. And then taking that back knee down, keeping it there to head into our twist. The inside hand, that right hand stays down. Left arm does this nice reach up, stack the shoulders left above right, look up past the left fingertips. If your shoulders aren't feeling so hot today, we can take hands to the hip or even press that left hand onto the knee. I'll show you that. Pressing that left hand onto the knee and twisting in this way too. And even in that kind of position, you actually get a little deeper into the twist in the belly rather than feeling so much in the shoulder. And then refreshing the blood flow from that twist. Let's take that left hand down to the floor or your block. Straighten that front leg back. Knee is still bent, hips come back. Flex the left toes, pull them back towards the leg. And try to lengthen through the spine a little more. So even though we're holding some of these poses, you are still moving just a little with each breath. And then bringing this pose back forward into your low lunge. Tuck the back toes. We'll head to that warrior pose. Lift the back knee. Back heel spins down. Reach up. And then open. This back hip likes to pop up a little and we tend to lean forward. So let's level that. Shoulders over hips. Open wide and then bend that left knee. Pressing into the pinky toe side. And look towards the left fingertips. We can also adjust the feet as needed. Continue to roll that right thigh inward at the same time, hips opening. And lots of little push and pull, opposing stretch and strength. Flip the palms. Straighten that front leg, reach up, inhale, look at the left hand. Keep looking at left fingertips as you bend the knee back to warrior two. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, open. One more time. And lower down. Good. Let's shift forward just a little. Elbow goes to the thigh. Again, hand can be on the hip. Roll the right shoulder, the top shoulder back. Reach up, bend a little more into that right knee or left knee. Look up. Look towards that right hand. Side angle pose. This is a variation of side angle. And for a little more strength or to try a challenge, we lift the left elbow just off the leg or even reach it someplace else. Scoop with the hand. So you feel more of that strength rather than pressing so much, taking the weight out of the legs. So there you go. And lifting back up, rise up, inhale. Exhale, bring that right hand forward to meet the left, pick up the back heel. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down to the floor or your blocks. Step back, down dog. Hold it here or vinyasa flow. Shift, chaturanga to the ground or halfway. Up dog or cobra pose. As you exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Good, and everyone who is in down dog, take the knees down, sit back in child's pose. Forehead towards the ground, reach long. And then from this resting pose, shift forward again, back to downward facing dog. And this time walk the hands back to meet the feet. Forward folds. You can rise up slowly by rolling up or reverse swan diving up while we make our way to standing. So you might be at the back of your mat or wherever you were. You can choose to stand wherever. You're gonna work on a little bit of balance. So if you want to be next to a wall or grab a chair, those are great options. You're gonna keep it simple for this pose, tree pose. Take your right leg, ground down. Left foot, heel comes into the ankle, turning that knee out, hips forward. Here's a variation. Another might be leg goes up to the calf or past the knee a little higher. So you don't want to rest it on the knobby part of the knee. Knees are not meant to go left and right. And again, in this pose, there's no, advanced option or fullest version of the pose. Each of them are going to have its own little elements. So this to me is a lot more challenging, let's say, than right here. Here I'm stuck, I'm stable, my hips are open, but this is where I want to be to challenge myself to open my knee a little farther and get more into balance. So again, not good or bad, not more or less, it's just a pose. Let's reach those arms up. You can play with that balance a little. So how we can keep our balance a little better, especially if you're on carpet, it's going to be more challenging. Abs in more. Spread the toes and press them down. And keep a little soft bend in that bottom knee. It's helpful for when you waver. So core strength is going to be a good element there. Okay, then draw the knee forward, that left knee. Hug it in towards you, lift it. You could even round the back a little, squeeze, and place it down. There we go. Should we move on without switching sides? No, we won't do that. Let's do the other side. Ground down, so get ready. Put most of your weight into that left foot. Take the other ankle, place it towards, foot towards the other ankle, knee open. So working towards not just being lazy and having that knee wherever, but actually activating the glutes to open the knee so it's straight out to the side, or even trying to pass the knee beyond the plane of the body. It won't, typically, because our hips stop us, because the hips will stay forward. Knee open. So even though it's maybe a seemingly simple pose, there's a lot going on. You can go up the shin or up to the thigh. Reach those arms up. For a more balanced challenge, look up or even close the eyes. Finding that place of wavers, of falling, gentle falling. It's not a bad thing. We want to find that edge or look for the edge. Explore it. Dip our toe just slightly over it. Good, and then bring the hands down. Knee comes forward, hug it and squeeze it, love it. Good, and then the leg comes down. So give a little shake out of the legs, hula hoop dancing. You're at home, so you could be in your pajamas or put some crazy cool music on. So many options, it's great. All right, back to the top of the mat. We're gonna come down now, a little bit farther. Reach those arms up, inhale, standing tall, mountain pose. Exhale, open wide, forward fold, lead with the heart. One more time into that half lift. Place the hands down and walk the feet back about halfway. Let's take the knees down, flatten the feet, and lift up so your hands are on your hips. Now, if your knees are like, hey, this is not cool for me, then adjust so that your knees are, your mat is folded and you have a little more cushion. You could also take a blanket or a towel. So we're gonna do a half camel pose to get a little more heart opening, a little more side body, core strength going on. So taking your hands to your hips, roll the shoulders back. We'll first just do a nice, simple, lengthened, gentle camel pose. So keeping the hips over the knees, shoulders back, create this C-like shape in the upper body, and then look forward or slightly up and hold. Elbows trying to touch one another in the back. And we get this sense or feeling of vulnerability, a sense of openness that can sometimes feel a little scary. So we're not going beyond any limits here, just breathing as we have through the whole practice. Good, and using that core strength to allow the body to come up to a neutral standing or kneeling position. Sit back on the heels again. Take a breath. And we'll do one leg at a time, one side at a time this next round. So we lift up. I'll start with my left hand, going back so you can see me a little better. So this is more of a side bend at first. You can use a block or just simply place a hand on your hip. Right arm reaches up, left hand on the hip, and you turn to the side just a little, leaning back. Hips stay over the knee. So the hand might stay on the hip, and this is the place you stay. Or we take the hand to a block, or even to the heel. And you feel the obliques, this little squeeze right here in the abs, and length on that right side if you've got your right hand up. And gently, carefully turning the body so that the right shoulder is coming down towards the floor, and we're opening more into a back bend, less of that side bend. Get a little squeeze of the glutes, look up. Without tilting the head too far back, you should still be able to swallow. It's called the swallow test. Yep, we're good. And then coming back to the side, turn so that right shoulder's over the left, other hand swoops down, and we sit. We've got the other side. We take this neutral pose. So instead of coming right away into something far opposite, which would be like a forward fold, we just simply neutralize. And then lift back up. Other side. Left arm reaches up, right hand now to your hip, or to a block, or to your foot. But we lean back slowly, hips stay over the knees. Feel that length on the left side, the armpit, the rib cage. And when and if you feel it's appropriate, grab that back, that right heel with the right hand. And continue to lean using that side bend. As you get more comfortable and breathe into it, feeling safer and safer, start to tilt that left shoulder, move it towards the ground behind you. Chest leading the way to the ceiling, to the sky. Good. Then look down again towards that right hand or right knee. Start to hinge in the hips as that left hand swoops down and around and you sit onto your heels. There we go. So then from here, we lean to the side, swing the legs around. Legs will go straight forward, toes pull back, sit tall into the staff pose or Dandasana. You can roll the inner thighs a little closer together, create more space in the back of the body. Reach up, lengthen, hold it. Toes pull back, again, hinge forward, just enough so that you're reaching forward without taking the hands down. Reach forward, create this long straight line, and then where you feel like it's enough, take the hands down. So there's no round in the back, not yet at least. I think we'll add that next just to feel a little back stretch, but this is for the hamstrings right now. Press through the heels and get taller. So now go ahead and gently walk the hands down so you get more of this back rounding. Not too much back rounding, just a little, so you feel a nice release from those back bends, from the activation. And then walk the hands back up. Sit tall, bend the knees. I'm going to I'll try my best to mirror you here. Take your left hand and grab onto that right foot underneath. Grab the right foot and tuck the right knee down, so it's like half seated. Left foot can stay in front or cross over the right. Either way, I'll stay in front. I'm gonna head to a twist. Left hand at the base of the back, right arm reaches up. Exhale, elbow either to the knee or hug the leg as you twist and look back. Seated spinal twist. We get a little deeper, focusing on the twist and less on the legs. And release that twist. We'll just simply make our way to the other side. So we're not going to twist from here. So take the bottom leg forward. Reach under with the right hand, find the left ankle, pull it under. Right foot stays either over the top or in line in place. Right hand at the base of the back, reach up with that left arm. Again, elbow to knee or hug the knee. Sit up taller. The tendency here is to lean back. Let's keep it forward, shoulders over the hips. And your gaze is at eye level. Okay, then release this twist. Coming forward. Let's take the feet forward to the top of the mat. Top of wherever you are. That way when we roll down, we're still on our mat and we don't have to shift. So feet to the top, reach forward, sit tall. Roll down slowly. Now we can round the back a little bit as you roll. So we want to take a slow adventure down to the ground on our backs. When it's quiet and I don't have music playing, you can definitely hear and feel a few more pops and things. But music is nice too. I just don't have music for you today. Let's hug the knees and rock side to side. You can make circles around that lower back. And massage that lower back. And from that massaging position, flex the feet and place the feet down, hip distance. So knees stay over the ankles. You might even want your feet a little more forward if you have any issues with your knees. So let's take the hands down, palms down, next to the sides of the body. Lift the hips off the ground as you press into the feet. Start to shimmy the shoulders together behind you into bridge pose. So I'm not doing it myself any favors by looking over towards the computer. So I'm gonna keep my gaze up, just like you. Keep it up to support the neck, to keep that safe. So now we're igniting the back of the body again, but with a gentle, nice bridge type hip, heart opener, bridge pose. Our yoga practice often is a practice of balancing side to side and front to back, and one pose compared to the other, counter poses and that kind of thing. So this is really great after forward folds, after stretching the hamstrings in the back, or before, and lower it down. Hips come down, hands come down. Keep the feet, actually take the feet a little wider. Knees open, hands by your sides, wherever comfortable. And those knees will go side to side like windshield wipers, left and right. Good. Bring the knees back up to the top, feet heel toe in about hip distance. Take your right leg straight up, and then ankle goes above the left knee for this figure 4 position. You can grab the left thigh or the left shin as you lift the legs, lift the left foot off the floor. Keep the upper body relaxed. The head, the shoulders, everything coming to neutral. Pull in. We didn't do a pigeon pose today, so this is our external rotation hip opener right at the end. So then switch sides, just release that, take the right foot down, left leg goes straight up, ankle to the knee, press the knee away, and then draw your legs in. So you're trying to get the left knee away from your body as your ankle comes closer to you, and helping it along by grabbing that right leg with the hands. Good, and release the legs, the feet, the hands, and both feet on the floor, feet together. Take the knees and open them wide, more like a bound angle or diamond type pose. Let gravity do its thing as it lets the knees, allows the knees to fall open, and your hands can rest onto your belly, your thighs, the floor, wherever most comfortable. We're finding our way into a place where it's a little bit more relaxed. If you are finding that this is tough on the legs or knees, you can take pillows, blocks, or any kind of props underneath the legs, just under the knees, and create some support for less strain. It's a great restorative posture. And for the next few minutes of our practice, towards the final minutes of our time together, you can choose a place that is most comfortable for you to just rest. It might be right here, knees open. It might be legs forward with the feet falling open. Or it might be, placing a pillow or some sort of props underneath the legs to help support any lower back strain. So find somewhere comfortable. to reconnect with your breath. Come back to this peace, this quiet, the only place you need to be right now. It's called Shavasana, and translated that really it means surrender. So can you surrender your body, your mind, your breath to this moment? Letting go expectations, judgments, and to-do lists. So we'll stay here a few more minutes, relaxing what you can, and enjoying this time to surrender. All right, take a deep breath in. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. If you have any props or assisting things, you move them aside. Extend your legs forward. Let your hands reach behind you for kind of a wake-up stretch. Bend your knees. Roll to your side. So you're going to tuck that bottom hip under, stack one hip over the other, and roll to the side. Make it comfortable. Stay a moment. And gently press, then back up to a seated pose. Again, somewhere comfortable. Much like how we began our practice, we end as well. It creates a nice little bookend as a transition into our practice and now out into the world. So you take your hands, flip them up again, sit up tall, reach up, connect the hands. This is how I typically end our classes. We take our hands to our heart. Keep them there. Fill yourself with gratitude, with love, with appreciation. One more breath. Thumbs to heart center. A full releasing, let go, exhale. And that's it. That's our practice for today. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.
Hey.